Disasters often strike without warning, which is why I believe it's crucial to be prepared with the right tools and mindset. You don't need to go to extremes or live in constant fear, but building a practical plan and assembling key essentials can make all the difference. Millions of people take quiet steps toward readiness, not because they expect the worst, but because it's a smart and responsible thing to do. From natural disasters to unexpected emergencies, having the right items on hand provides a sense of security and confidence. And that's why I've put together this straightforward video covering 15 survival essentials that everyone should have before disaster strikes. These aren't extravagant or complicated items. They're practical tools designed to support you in the most common scenarios. This list is based on the idea that preparation doesn't have to be overwhelming. Whether you're new to prepping or want to refine your emergency kit, these essentials will help you stay ready for anything while keeping things simple and realistic. My goal is to empower you to handle emergencies confidently, without unnecessary stress, so you can focus on keeping yourself and your loved ones safe when it matters most. 1. Water. Water is undeniably the most critical survival resource, and it's at the top of my list when preparing for a disaster. Humans can only last a few days without water, so ensuring you have an adequate, reliable supply is non-negotiable. The recommendation is to store at least 15 gallons of potable water per person. That gives each individual 1 gallon per day for 2 weeks. If you're just starting out or have limited storage space, don't worry. You can work your way up by beginning with a smaller quantity, such as a few gallons, and gradually increase your supply over time. Having a backup plan for water purification is just as important. Emergencies can be unpredictable, and your stored water might not last as long as you thought. Or you may find yourself accessing untreated water. I keep portable water filters handy and recommend learning how to use countertop filtration models, purification tablets, UV sterilization pens, or even basic household bleach used very cautiously. It's vital to familiarize yourself with these tools and methods before disaster strikes, so there's no guesswork when it matters most. Maintenance of your water supply should also be part of your routine. Stored water can stagnate or be affected by contaminants over time. I make it a point to rotate my water supply every 6 months, replacing old reserves with fresh, clean water. By combining proper storage, purification strategies, and maintenance, I have peace of mind knowing I'll stay hydrated no matter the situation. Preparing your water supply today could truly be a lifesaver tomorrow. 2. Food. When it comes to survival essentials, food is at the top of my list. A proper supply of food can make all the difference during a disaster, ensuring that my family and I have the energy and nourishment we need. Experts recommend stockpiling at least 23,000 calories per person, which equates to about 1,500 calories a day for 2 weeks. That's our baseline to be prepared for any unforeseen emergencies. Prefer to mix long-term prepper meals with more familiar shelf-stable foods that my family already enjoys. This includes canned goods, pasta, rice, and even jars of peanut butter, all of which are versatile and easy to store. I focus on options that don't require refrigeration, since power outages are common during disasters. Meals that are easy to prepare, even in challenging conditions, are also a priority. It's all about practicality and ensuring that we can adapt to any situation. To build up my food supply, I take a gradual approach. Instead of buying everything at once, I add a few extra items during my regular grocery trips. This saves money and helps me avoid stress. I also make a point to think about dietary needs and preferences. For example, I keep gluten-free products on hand for one family member, and make sure to include some of our favorite comfort foods like chocolate bars or instant coffee. These small touches can go a long way in boosting morale during tough times. Finally, I always test the food I store to make sure it's actually palatable. There's no point in stockpiling items that no one wants to eat. This careful preparation gives me peace of mind, knowing that we're ready no matter what happens. Fire. Fire is one of the most critical survival essentials you must prepare for before disaster strikes. From providing critical warmth during cold nights to ensuring you can cook food and purify water, fire is so much more than just a tool. It's often the difference between life and death in an emergency scenario. It also serves as an invaluable resource for signaling for help, especially when stranded in a remote area. The ability to create fire is something I take very seriously, as it ensures a basic layer of security and comfort in uncertain conditions. One of the key lessons I've learned is the importance of having reliable fire-starting tools at hand. I always stock up on lighters, waterproof matches, ferro rods, and magnesium sticks as my go-to options. These tools are compact, durable, and easy to pack in survival kits. I also make sure to include effective fire starters like cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly or dryer lint, which ignite easily and burn long enough to help me get a fire going even in damp environments. Having backup fuel sources like small sticks, newspaper, or fire cubes makes the process even easier. However, having the tools is not enough. I practice using them regularly. Knowing how to properly use a ferro rod or magnesium stick takes practice, and I don't want to find myself fumbling in an emergency. Trust me, practice will save you time and frustration when it matters most. A fire can be a lifeline, and it's up to you to be prepared to create it. Fire is life, and in survival situations, being ready to harness it is non-negotiable. 4. Light. When disaster strikes, one of the first comforts we lose is light. Power outages can happen suddenly, leaving us in the dark and making it hard to move around safely. That's why having reliable light sources is an absolute must in any survival kit. I've learned that you can never underestimate how much easier and safer dealing with emergencies becomes when you're properly equipped with the right lighting options. I make sure to keep a variety of tools ready to go. Headlamps and flashlights, along with plenty of spare batteries, are my primary go-tos because they're portable and effective. Rechargeable LED lights and solar-powered lamps are also excellent for reducing dependency on disposable batteries. Candles and lanterns add versatility and can brighten up larger spaces. Something I've found particularly handy for low-light situations or emergencies with kids are glow sticks. They work great for marking paths, adding visibility, or even calming younger family members during stressful situations. It's important to always have a backup plan. Even if you rely on high-tech gear like rechargeable lights, non-tech options like candles or lanterns are essential. Batteries die, chargers fail, and technology can be unpredictable during extreme conditions. I've learned to think ahead and ensure I'm prepared for those situations where the unexpected happens. It's the simplest steps, like having multiple light sources, that can make all the difference when darkness sets in. Don't wait until it's too late to be prepared. Light, quite literally, can be your guide during a crisis. 5. Temperature control. Temperature control is crucial for survival in extreme weather conditions, whether it's a freezing winter or a scorching summer. I always make sure I'm prepared for both extremes because being caught unprepared can be life-threatening. For winter preparedness, I rely on indoor safe heaters, such as propane, butane, or electric models, to provide consistent warmth. It's essential to choose heaters designed specifically for indoor use to avoid risks like carbon monoxide poisoning. On top of that, I stock up on insulating items such as wool blankets, sleeping bags, rated for low temperatures, and warm clothing like hats, gloves, and socks. Layering up properly makes a big difference when temperatures plummet. On the flip side, summer preparedness requires an entirely different strategy. I prioritize staying cool with USB-powered fans that can run on portable batteries, which are often lifesavers during heat waves or power outages. Additionally, thermal blankets or emergency space blankets are invaluable. They reflect body heat and protect against overheating when used properly. Staying hydrated during hot weather also plays a critical role in temperature regulation, so I keep sufficient water supplies close by. One thing I've learned is the importance of practicing setting up heating or cooling gear ahead of time. When disaster strikes, there's often little time to fumble with unfamiliar equipment. By practicing beforehand, I feel confident and prepared, knowing I can quickly adapt to extreme weather conditions. Whether it's bitterly cold or unbearably hot, having the right tools and knowledge ensures I can maintain a safe, stable environment no matter what. Temperature control is truly a survival essential that deserves attention and preparation. 6. Shelter. When preparing for any unexpected disaster, I know that having a reliable form of shelter is one of the most essential survival priorities. Shelter is crucial because it protects me and my loved ones from the elements. Whether that means shielding us from harsh winds, relentless rain, scorching sun, or even falling debris. Without proper shelter, exposure to extreme conditions could quickly lead to serious health risks like hypothermia or heat exhaustion. To ensure I'm equipped for any situation, I always make it a point to include the right gear. Tarps are incredibly versatile and an absolute must-have in my survival kit. They can be used to cover broken windows, create wind barriers, build makeshift tents, and even collect rainwater in a pinch. A durable tarp paired with ropes or bungee cords can easily be converted into a life-saving structure when time is critical. Alongside tarps, I keep tents or heavy-duty emergency blankets ready, especially for outdoor situations where quick assembly and portability are key. However, having the right tools isn't enough. I know practice is essential. I've taken the time to learn how to properly secure a tarp using ropes and bungee cords, ensuring that I can quickly erect a stable and effective shelter in moments of urgency. Whether I'm preparing for hurricanes, power outages, or unexpected evacuations, shelter remains a top priority in my survival plan. Being proactive with shelter preparation helps me feel confident that I'll be ready to face whatever challenges come my way. 7. Medical supplies. When it comes to survival essentials, I can't emphasize enough how critical it is to have medical supplies on hand. Injuries don't wait for a convenient time, and in a disaster where help might not arrive immediately, having a well-stocked medical kit could be the difference between life and death. Whether it's a small cut or a more serious wound, being prepared allows me to handle emergencies calmly and effectively. I make sure to include the basics in my kit. Things like bandages, gauze, adhesive tape, antiseptic wipes, antibiotic ointment, and pain relievers. These items might seem simple, but they're absolutely indispensable for treating common injuries like scrapes, burns, or minor cuts. I also carry gloves and tweezers to keep everything as clean and sterile as possible. A basic kit like this ensures I can take care of day-to-day medical concerns without complication. However, for more advanced situations, I've added items that go beyond the basics. Fever reducers, anti-diarrheal meds, allergy pills, splints, cold packs, and even a CPR face shield are essential for deeper preparedness. One item I believe is a game changer in severe scenarios is a tourniquet. It's not something I hope to use, but it could save a life in a critical moment. Most importantly, I've taken the time to get trained. A first aid or trauma care course has given me the confidence to use these supplies correctly and handle crises. Knowledge is just as important as the tools themselves, and it ensures I'm ready to take action when every second counts. 8. Hygiene. When preparing for any disaster, one of the most crucial aspects to consider is hygiene. Staying clean goes beyond just feeling fresh. It's about preventing infections, illnesses, and maintaining overall health in potentially unsanitary conditions. I can't stress enough how important it is to pack the right hygiene essentials in your survival kit. I always make sure to include wet wipes and hand sanitizer. These are lifesavers when water isn't readily available for washing. Camp soap is another essential, as it's versatile and safe for the environment, making it ideal for cleaning dishes, clothes, and even yourself. For basic oral hygiene, I pack the essentials, like toothbrushes, toothpaste, and floss. Because dental health is often overlooked in emergencies, neglecting it can lead to painful problems that no one wants to deal with in a survival situation. For feminine hygiene, I ensure to have a sufficient supply of products like pads or tampons. It's important to be comfortable and prepared for all situations. I also carry deodorant to maintain personal hygiene for as long as possible. Equally important is waste management. I always include trash bags, gloves, and disinfectant wipes so I can dispose of waste properly. This not only ensures cleanliness but also helps prevent contamination and the spread of diseases. These items might seem simple, but they're absolutely vital for staying safe and healthy when dealing with challenging conditions. Taking these precautions ensures I am ready to handle whatever comes my way. Hygiene shouldn't be a secondary consideration, it's a foundational aspect of survival. 9. Communication. When a disaster strikes, communication becomes one of the most vital tools for survival. Being able to stay informed and reach out for help can mean the difference between safety and danger for me and my loved ones. That's why I ensure that my emergency communications plan is robust, covering multiple scenarios where power and traditional cell service might fail. To stay informed about rapidly changing situations, I keep a NOAA weather radio within reach. It provides real-time updates and alerts that are crucial for understanding the scope of a disaster and planning next steps. For direct communication, I also rely on two-way ham radios. These devices, while requiring some practice to operate and a license to use legally, are incredibly reliable when other systems fail. It is worth taking the time to learn how to use them effectively in case I find myself in a critical situation. Beyond advanced tools, I never underestimate the value of low-tech communication options. Whistles, for instance, can be life-saving in scenarios where I need to signal for help without draining battery-powered devices. Signal mirrors and lights can also serve as effective tools for attracting attention, especially over long distances. These simple items, though easy to overlook, are compact, lightweight, and invaluable. I understand that communication during an emergency isn't just about speaking out. It's about staying connected, informed, and prepared. Having reliable communication tools ready ensures that I'm always one step ahead, no matter what comes my way. When it comes to survival, staying in touch could make all the difference. 10. Power. When it comes to powering your devices in an emergency, preparation is key. I always make it a priority to have backup energy sources ready to go because power outages are unpredictable and can last longer than anticipated. I store a good supply of spare batteries, like AA, AAA, and even 9V, sealed in waterproof bags to ensure they stay dry and functional. Batteries are often the lifeline for flashlights, radios, and small tools, so they're a non-negotiable part of my kit. One thing I've learned is you can't rely solely on one method to charge your devices. That's why I always keep multiple charging options at my disposal. Solar chargers are excellent on sunny days, allowing me to harness renewable energy for phones and other gadgets, but they're not foolproof. On overcast days or at night, I turn to power banks that I've pre-charged, or even wind-up chargers, which require only manual effort to give my devices life. Car chargers are another smart backup, as long as I've got fuel in the tank. By diversifying my charging methods, I ensure I can keep essential electronics, such as communication tools and emergency lights, operational, no matter the circumstances. The key to maintaining power supply during a disaster is redundancy. I've drilled it into my routine to test these energy sources periodically, ensuring they're functional and ready when needed. It may seem like overkill to some, but those few moments of preparation can make the difference between staying connected and being left in the dark during an emergency. 11. Tools. No survival kit is complete without tools, plain and simple. They're not just helpful, they're often your best chance at ensuring your safety and survival. Over the years, I've come to value a high-quality axe and shovel as essentials. Why? Because they serve so many purposes. Whether it's chopping firewood to keep warm, clearing debris to create a safe pathway, or building a makeshift shelter, these two tools in particular are important workhorses. I also insist on having a sturdy, comfortable pair of work gloves within arm's reach at all times. You don't truly appreciate how easily blisters and cuts can hinder your ability to complete simple survival tasks until it happens to you. Gloves help me grip tools securely, protect me from sharp edges, and even provide warmth in colder conditions. It's a small thing, but in survival situations, small things can have massive consequences. What I've come to realize is that versatility matters when it comes to choosing tools. For example, I carry a multi-tool in my pack which includes pliers, screwdrivers, and a small saw. It's compact, but its many functions get me out of a lot of tricky situations. From repairing equipment to opening canned goods or cutting rope, tools like this are indispensable. I also focus on maintaining my tools because a dull axe or rusty shovel is as good as useless. Regular sharpening and thorough cleaning after use keep them in top condition. I also store them properly, ensuring that they're easily accessible but also secure, so no one in my household accidentally gets hurt. Having the right tools feels empowering. It's not just about feeling prepared, it's about knowing I can handle challenges that come my way. For me, every tool has a purpose, and each one adds to my confidence in facing the unpredictable. 12. Mental health. Having supported my physical survival needs, I often remind myself that mental health is just as critical during disasters. It's startling how quickly stress and anxiety can overwhelm you in uncertain and challenging circumstances. I always ensure I prepare ahead to safeguard my mental well-being. Maintaining a healthy mind during a crisis is not just about staying calm. It's about staying functional and making sound decisions when it matters the most. One thing I've learned over time is that staying informed can alleviate a good deal of stress. For example, keeping a portable radio or a charged device with access to news can help avoid the anxiety that arises from feeling in the dark. Accurate information empowers me to make better decisions for myself and my loved ones. At the same time, I limit exposure to excessive or misleading information to prevent unnecessary panic. Including familiar distractions in a survival kit is also something I swear by. When I pack, I make sure there's space for a book, a game, or even a journal. These simple items can refocus a frazzled mind and provide a semblance of normalcy in a chaotic situation. Journaling in particular has been a great outlet for expressing emotions and clearing my thoughts. Staying connected to loved ones is another lifeline I value deeply. I make it a point to keep family and close friends informed about my plans and whereabouts. Knowing they're safe, and them knowing I'm safe, is immensely reassuring. However, I've also prepared for situations where communication might not be possible. That's why I try to create a routine, even if it's something as small as eating meals at consistent times, which helps anchor me mentally. Lastly, I never hesitate to prioritize rest. Sleep is often difficult during a disaster, but I use earbuds or noise-canceling devices to block out chaos whenever possible. Recharging my mind and body allows me to tackle challenges with a clearer head. Taking proactive steps toward my mental health has given me the strength to press forward, no matter how tough the situation becomes. 13. Important documents. When disaster strikes, one of the first things I grab is my folder of important documents. I've come to understand through experience how crucial these papers are for recovery and aid. Without them, proving who you are or reclaiming property can become a lot more challenging than it needs to be. That's why I keep all essential paperwork organized and easily accessible. At the top of my list are documents that establish identity, such as birth certificates, passports, and social security cards. These are often required when applying for aid or relocating temporarily. I also take insurance policies for my home, car, and health. Insurance claims can be a lengthy process, and having the right policy information on hand can make things much smoother. Equally important are property documents. I ensure there are copies of deeds, lease agreements, or mortgage statements. These serve as proof of ownership or residency, something that's critical if displacement occurs. Maps of my local area might feel old-fashioned in the digital age, but I like having a backup in case electronic devices fail. Often, it's a paper map that helps me find safety or reconnect with loved ones when lines of communication are down. Over time, I've learned to store these documents carefully. I keep physical copies in a waterproof, fireproof folder so they're protected from the elements. They stay in a designated spot in my emergency kit, meaning I can grab them in a hurry. But I don't stop there. I also scan each document and save digital backups to USB drives. To cover all bases, I store these USB drives in different locations or with trusted family members for safekeeping. And one thing I take extra care to do is keep a physical notebook with important phone numbers, addresses, and emergency contacts. It's a low-tech, life-saving backup for when phones or batteries fail. Every once in a while, I update the list to ensure the details are current. Preparation is everything when it comes to documents. Having these organized and ready has saved me from additional stress, especially during times of uncertainty. It's a small but vital step that makes a world of difference in recovering after a disaster.